Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's greenlight.com/get-started.
No, Lucinda, I did not say Eli could make one big cookie. Well, then don't even bother checking with me. Yes, put it all away. Thank you.
Noah, thank goodness you're here.
There's not much time, please.
Hey, guys, what's up? Hey, Tom, what's with the bed? You doing like a sleep thing?
Sweet Noah, always with a joke. That's why I loved him.
Somebody want to tell me what's going on?
Oh, it's the pre-episode shenanigans. Tom's starving himself.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
It is. I haven't eaten since noon.
I mean, we started lunch at noon.
Noon-ish. I haven't eaten since noon-ish.
So you skipped dinner?
No, we didn't. Look, none of that matters now. All of you come close. I have something I want to tell you.
Anything.
Sure, buddy.
The cold open of this show is weird. Like the sketch should go in the middle, and then the first thing people hear should be the music and then the intro, you know?
Oh, no, that actually makes sense.
I can see that.
Give them
I actually
less.
see that.
That's what they always say.
And with that said, I can finally rest.
Tom, you're literally eating right now.
What? My lines were long. I got hungry.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts, because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Noah. I'm going to be acting as this week's guru, and like all gurus, I'll be damned if I'm going to do any of the work myself, so I've brought along a few disciples. First up, the man who did a lot of ketamine before actually Googling to see if that's even what keto diet meant, Eli Bosnick.
Why befriend a veterinarian if you're not going to get at least a little ketamine out of the deal? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's fair. That's fair. And we're also joined by the man who thought paleo was a 50s slur for a Nordic person, Tom.
Hey, anything is a slur if the eye contact is right, okay?
A white man's credo. And finally, the guy who doesn't need a diet because everything he cooks takes 23 hours to prepare, Cecil.
If I have 12 minutes to eat left on the clock, I will not be in caloric deficit at the end of the day. I guarantee it.
Okay, no, that's fair. And of course, before we get started, I want to remind you that Purveyor of Bullshit pays way better than Skeptical
Sure does.
Podcaster. And without our patrons, it'd be way more tempting to act on that knowledge. Anyway, if you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around till the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Pete Evans.
All right, Tom, you screamed at a Wikipedia article for this one. You ready to tell us what you were yelling about?
I will. You know, there's a talk section on Wikipedia, but no grumble and bellow section. That's just a lost opportunity. I don't.
You hang out on enough talk sections, you'll find a few.
I was going to say, Tom, really dig in there. There's some definite crumbling and bellowing going on.
So, Tom, who was Pete Evans? And if you could, please phrase your answer in the form of an autobiographical factoid that sort of weaves drunkenly around and then swerves it to the point just when you least expect it. That would be great. I would really appreciate that.
Oh, would you expect something different?
No, not at all.
No, that's
all.
true. That's true.
I'm just setting you up, bud.
Yeah. All right. In 2017, I fulfilled a lifelong dream of traveling to Australia, a country I had wanted to visit and explore for as long as I can remember wanting to go anywhere. And I was lucky enough to have this opportunity because I, along with everyone on this show, was invited along by the organizers of the Skepticon conference. In fact, it was at Skepticon that this very show, debuted its first live show. One of the hallmarks of the Skepticon conference is the awarding of the Bent Spoon. an award given to purveyors and popularizers of bullshit and nonsense, or as they put it, quote, the proponent of the most preposterous piece of pseudoscientific or paranormal piffle of the year.
Nicely done.
Now, I know. And we've been invited to Skepticon, not in 2017, but neither 2015 or 2020. We would have been there for the awarding of the Ben Spoon to today's anti-hero, the only shithead to win this not-to-be-cherished award twice.
Oh, wow. Okay, so obviously I love the guys with Skepticon and all, but you can't use pseudoscience when you're doing P alliteration, guys. I mean, I get it. It does start with P, but come on. Like,
it's visual alliteration.
Piece of pseudoscientific paranormal.
It's like me trying to write for Noah during Vulgarity for Charity.
All right, Pete Evans was born in 1973 in Melbourne, Australia, and failed entirely to do anything worth writing about in Wikipedia until 1996, when he and his brother opened their very first restaurant. And then, like, just a whole bunch more restaurants. Most of everything Pete does in his real adult life is pretty much a nightmare, but you got to give him credit for his restaurant thing. They opened just a slew of restaurants, all under the corporate umbrella of the Hugo Group, and they won just a shit ton of awards. The Sydney Morning Herald awarded restaurants in the Hugo Group 8 Chef's Hat Awards, 21 Best in Australia Awards, and in 2005, Hugo's actually won Best Pizza in the World. Though it should be noted that that event took place at the American Pizza Challenge in New York, so pretty much anything a rat can carry in behind a pile of garbage bags would be able to get on the boat.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was cooked down under and delivered straight from an Australia in a box and a car, and it still sat out for less time than a New York pizza.
and still got there quicker than a Chicago-style dine-in order, of course. I'm still waiting. I haven't been to Chicago in 3 fucking years. I'm still waiting on my Pete West delivery.
Listeners, Tom and Cecil are just jealous because Pizza Rat wouldn't take a picture with them when we saw him on the street when they visited. He was awkward. He embarrassed.
I was by his favorite garbage can, and he wouldn't even come near me. It was ridiculous.
Weirdly haughty for a rat.
Right?
Weirdly haughty. But Pete Evans really became an Australian cultural icon when in 2010, he became a judge on Channel 7's kitchen game show, My Kitchen Rules. And this show was wildly popular. It became the highest rated reality television cooking competition. It garnered 2 million weekly viewers. Evans also hosted a PBS show in 2014 called A Movable Feast with Fine Cooking, terrible name, which was nominated for an Emmy. Things were just taken off for Pete, though the cracks were starting to show. During an interview, he gave up what a typical Evans breakfast was: a nice tall glass of alkaline water and some activated almonds.
Oh, look, Tom found a crazy chef. Tune in next week where maybe he'll tell us about an atheist podcaster who's not particularly good at admitting when they're wrong. Well done.
And as all of us on this show know, when you have even a modicum of notoriety, you have to write a book.
3/4 of us know that, Tom.
Yeah, I couldn't even stick to a blog, Tom. What you're talking about.
And so Pete wrote a bunch of them, each one promoting not just recipes, but a philosophy that modern society is living by outdated nutritional precepts. And since those precepts are outdated, then I guess something eat paleo? The modern, not outdated Paleolithic diet?
Okay, Tom, don't piss off the paleo people in our audience, okay? They're all so close to a heart attack as it is. You're really...
So the problem was that they weren't outdated enough. I gotcha. Okay. All right.
Oh, now Pete goes real hard on the paleo diet, but he doesn't go paleo like your buddy fucking around at CrossFit Micah. Okay? No. Pete Evans co-authored a book in 2015 called, this is the name of his book, Bubba Yum Yum, The Paleo Way for New Mums, Babies, and Toddlers.
Yikes.
Now, this book, it was not without its detractors, since it suggested, among other things, that babies should be fed bone broth, which they absolutely should not. And the book was criticized by health experts as, and this is a quote, extremely deadly for all babies, end quote.
Also, keep your baby away from CrossFit because they do a totally different kind of burpee there.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Cheating.
True.
The controversial deadly recipes floated in Bubba Yum Yum were eventually changed.
Yum, yum.
Bubba Yum Yum. And Channel 7 was still standing behind their celebrity chef ATM machine. Though even after the changes, experts noted that the recipes were still dangerous to babies, which sounds bad, but is admittedly a big step up from deadly for all babies.
Sure. You'd think it would be hard to pitch, this is how humans are supposed to eat, and forget the stuff that comes out of your chest. What your baby needs comes from that fancy grocery store in your hometown. But somehow this dude managed it. So,
because I think that's what they ate in the Paleolithic, right? Like, yeah, not like this newfangled breast milk has a real, it's got what plants crave vibe to
it. In 2016, Evans took to Facebook to offer advice to an osteoporosis sufferer. His advice? Avoid calcium.
What?
Now, if you don't already know, osteoporosis is a disease of low mineral density in the bones, and calcium's a big goddamn part of that mineral makeup. But Pete suggested that, quote, most doctors don't know that calcium from dairy can remove the calcium from your bones, end quote.
What?
And in case you're wondering, no, it absolutely cannot do that.
Milk just sitting in your digestive system. Bring me your calcium.
Yeah,
bring it to me.
Like some kind of turf war, motherfucker. Where's the calcium around here now?
So this is actually a myth that some vegan communities get caught up in as well. And fun fact,
you don't say.
Yeah.
No.
And fun fact, they never add the second half of that explanation because it's fucking stupid. It's apparently because milk makes your body too acidic. Is why
What?
it drains
What now?
the calcium.
Okay. Sure.
Yes, the famed acidic properties of milk.
It's buttermilk, maybe, but
In 2017, Pete Evans produced and narrated the Netflix misinformation documentary, The Magic Pill, which suggested that if you eat keto super hard, it can help your autism, asthma, and cancer.
Coincidentally, the 3 less flattering nicknames for the Scathing Atheist cast.
Shit, I'm the cancer, aren't I? Yeah.
yep.
Now, look, in fairness, the ketogenic diet was actually developed as a legit medical treatment for epilepsy in the 1920s. So I actually don't want to tell you that it's impossible that a diet could be a meaningful treatment for disease. I actually don't want to tell you anything like that. In fact, because I have a degree in English literature and like Pete, am not at all fucking qualified to weigh in.
I love how you left us that setup and then a blank space where you're somehow even less qualified co-hosts could interject.
Yeah, exactly.
2018, Pete took the fight to big sunscreen,
Okay.
promoting, I guess, skin cancer instead. And if getting some rays directly on the skin isn't enough for you, he also suggested spending some time just, looking right at the fucking sun like a U.S. president watching the eclipse. To be fair to Pete, he wasn't suggesting doing this except at sunrise and sunset, but also in the same spirit of that fairness, that doesn't really matter, and you can absolutely suffer permanent vision loss doing that.
Hey, everyone, I'm here to promote my new eating handfuls of acorns and staring into the sun diet. Who's with me?
Way too many people, Cecil. Like, way too many people are with him.
Yeah.
Yep, they have their own god-awful movies and everything.
Now, of course, our friend Pete also opposes fluoride in the drinking water, and at this point, you might be asking yourself, Tom, what credentials does Pete have other than guy who runs restaurants to be opining on so many important and complex issues of human biology? Well, Pete, neither a doctor or dietitian, but he did go to some seminars a few times, and he calls himself a health advisor. So some similar weasel language nonsense bullshit. And look, all of this is bad. It's quite bad. It's bad enough to win a bent spoon, in fact, in 2015, if you'll recall, but 2020 was right around the bend, and things were about to get much, much worse.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to all that, I feel like I need a booster against stupidity, so we're going to pause for a little apropos of nothing.
Hello, I'm Dr. Werner von Huberstein, here to tell you about my wonderful new course, Shutting the Fuck Up for Famous People. That's right. Each year, hundreds of mildly famous people predispose themselves to foot and mouth disease by offering their opinions on a variety of subjects they're not qualified in. But thanks to my 10-week course, you can save your reputation and Twitter mentions in one simple step. Let's watch.
Man, the war in Yemen is bad.
Well, see, here's the thing that most people don't understand about that.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Well, I was
Nobody
gonna...
fucking cares! Shut the fuck up!
Oh, okay.
Dr. Werner von Huberstein shutting the fuck up for famous people. Because if you had good opinions, that's what you'd be famous for.
And we're back. When we last left off, Pete Evans was the fucking worst, and now he's going to get worse than that. So, how, Tom?
All right, Pete Evans has a history of being an anti-vax nut job, even before COVID came along, but COVID just ramped things up to 11.
Yeah, he didn't believe in vaccines on vinyl.
These vaccines have a warmer sound. In early 2020, Pete became an admirer of RFK Jr.,
Gross.
the now independent 2024 presidential candidate and one of the most prominent and prolific purveyors of anti-vax lies and propaganda.
Yeah, he's also one of those arcade prizes where you shake them and they go.
Pete was only too happy to dig in and help amplify this dangerous nonsense, though not without some pushback.
Yeah, whenever somebody's whole thing is bragging about how many diseases they aren't immune to, pushing back in both the physical and metaphorical sense is recommended. The former with an electrified rod or something with points.
Now, Harry Nespolon, the national president of the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners, took Pete on publicly, saying that Pete should stick to talking about activated almonds and leave vaccinations alone. A quip which got under Pete's skin like a needle full of nail dots. Pete complained that Nespolon's comments subjected him to ridicule, which it did, and which he absolutely deserved. When Nespolon died of cancer, Evans, in a very classy move, took the chance to suggest that Nespolon should have talked to Pete before he became ill, so Pete could have helped him.
Yeah, Pete's like, the problem with pancreatic cancer is when people drink large glasses of pancreas, it pulls the pancreas out of your body.
By May of 2020, Pete was on YouTube, sharing videos by David Icke,
Nice.
who you might recall is an anti-Semite who believes that secret lizard men controlled by the Jewish Rothschild family are interdimensional beings enslaving the earth to farm it for monoatomic gold.
And his books
They
are
are.
boring.
Right? Right, which, let's be honest, is almost hard to do when that's your fucking starting point. But yeah, he manages it.
Now, when COVID hit, Icke took to video to push the idea that COVID was absolutely not real and at the same time caused by 5G cell phone towers.
Oh,
So this was the intellectual company that Pete was now keeping.
To be fair, Tom, you co-own two businesses with Eli. Two different businesses.
Okay, that hurts. That hurts just saying it out loud and just like hearing it. I gotta diversify my portfolio or something. Okay.
You gotta stop. I'm in too much of it. I'm in two of it.
In October, Pete began to claim that he now had a seriously powerful tool in the fight against cancer. You see, if you have rampant telomere replication in your cells, what you have to do to cure it is to, quote, look through a holistic lens, to embrace alternative medicine and get off pharmaceutical drugs. You just need a holistic approach, the whole holistic approach, a whole, holy, holistic approach. That's it. That's all you need.
So simple.
But shit didn't really pop off and blow up in Pete's face until the Biocharger NG.
Well, that sounds like a legitimate.
Ooh. Find those at CVS, right? They're right next to the like Band-Aids and shit.
Nurse, bring me the Biocharger NG stat.
Also, when you bring it, can you go skew?
So the Biocharger NG was being marketed by Evans as a, quote, subtle energy platform, end quote, which would cure the Wuhan coronavirus. Now, what you might be wondering is a Biocharger NG then? Well, according to the Australian Medical Association, it was a, quote, glorified plasma lamp, end quote. You know, like you might remember seeing at Spencer's at the mall.
Yeah, but it comes with a free blacklight poster of a telomere whipping out a fucking awesome guitar solo. So worth it.
Oh, God. So he's like, you know what? On second thought, we realized that pretending a disease doesn't exist is a terrible move for people who sell fake cures for shit. So do over. COVID is real, but hear me out. Racistly.
Now, unlike the Zappy Ball thing at a Spencer's, however, the Biocharger NG sold for $15,000.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And last time I checked, that's a hell of a lot of money for a novelty lamp. Regulators at the Therapeutic Goods Administration took note and decided that this lava lamp knockoff wasn't anything really at all. And so they fined Pete Evans about $25,000 in 2020 and then another $80,000 in 2021. He also got kicked off of Facebook and Instagram around the same time for bullshit peddling, and he got fired from his celebrity chef gig.
Yeah, and as long as he didn't sell more than 7 of his bullshit plasma lamps, I'm sure he really learned his lesson.
Yeah, I did the math too, Eli, when I saw that.
I know. And about this biocharger thing got me to thinking a little. So we're going to pause on Pete and we're going to take a little detour because when COVID struck, it wasn't just biochargers from the mall, horse paste from the Tractor Supply store that was being hawked for the cure of COVID. We're going to take a minute to talk about a few of these.
Whoa, Tom, you're not allowed to just switch topics mid-essay. You're supposed to forget to talk about your topic until halfway through your essay when Cecil turns on his camera and waves a knife at you.
Yeah, we have a format here, Tom, and ignoring the format is Heath's thing. That's in the format.
Exactly.
That's part of the format.
A fantastically popular Facebook post suggested that the color white had a harmful effect on COVID. Even when it's on a handkerchief, as suggested by the post. So, like, shockingly, just waving around a surrender flag turns out not to dissuade the virus.
Yeah, if it hated white, why did all those Trump supporters wind up on ventilators? Riddle me this.
USB flash drive were being sold that were said to offer protection from 5G. Just 5G, I guess. Flash drives cannot, of course, interact with cellular signals, much less roll a D20 and cast a shield of protection around you because it's a fucking flash drive. And still these things flew off the shelf.
Yeah.
We're guaranteed to remove 20% of the G's.
Tom, I'm going to need you to stay in your lane and leave the D&D references to me and Eli, okay?
I thought I got
Thank
that right.
you.
I got that right.
Jesus, you got it right, which is infuriating.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
It's very mad. It makes me mad. It makes me madder that you got it right.
Now, on the dark web, a combination of nicotine, cocaine, and amphetamines, known on the street as a NOAA, was being offered as a DIY COVID vaccine. And just regular cocaine was said to sterilize the nose and prevent the COVID from, getting up in your snoot. So this one had so much traction that the French Ministry of Health had to put out a statement that cocaine does not, in fact, protect you from COVID.
You hear that, Mom? I was just really worried about COVID in college. Like really worried about COVID.
And while we're talking to our moms, Mom, to be clear, the nicotine, cocaine, amphetamine me is a thing of the past. I quit nicotine years ago. I quit. I didn't do that.
Also, industrial methanol was said to kill COVID. And while there's no evidence that methanol kills COVID, there is actually plenty of evidence that it kills you. And in Iran, at least 300 and perhaps as many as 600 people found that out. Though in fairness, after dying of methanol poisoning, COVID, not so much of a worry anymore.
All the Joe Rogan fans thinking these people are so stupid as they crush up some ivermectin and snort it off their own bicep.
And of course, there was the miracle mineral solution. This is a mixture of sodium chloride, which is salt, and then an acid of some kind. When mixed together, it produces chlorine dioxide, an industrial bleach and fumigant. Still, this was and is still peddled often by religious weirdos like the Genesis 2 Church, which sells this poison on its website and calls it a sacrament. It is not. It's fucking bleach. That's bleach.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But before they were pitching it as a COVID cure, they were telling people to give their kids enemas with it. So if you think about it, this pivot was actually a harm reduction.
Probably, yeah. And Eli, I can only apologize for yelling "blow it up your ass" at that salesman so many times. I saw it light up in his eyes when I said it.
You had no way of knowing.
Thank you.
And now we do have to return to Pete. Now you might be thinking, Tom, things really seem to have gotten bad for a guy who started off as a successful restaurateur and celebrity chef, so surely it cannot get worse. But it does. It really, really does, because of course, Pete couldn't resist tweeting out a one-shot cartoon of a caterpillar wearing a MAGA hat telling a butterfly you've chained, to which the butterfly replies, "We're supposed to." I know, it's heady stuff. Very funny. Oh, also there's some Nazi shit in there too.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I miss when caterpillars just ate fruit in ascending order.
You see, on the butterfly's wing is a Sonnenrad, or a black sun, a symbol adapted from Norse symbology and used by Himmler and later white supremacists and just, neo-Nazis in general. Now, just so you don't think there might be any possibility that good old Pete didn't realize the symbol was straight Nazi shit, that symbol was prominently displayed by the shooter at the recent Christchurch massacre. And when someone online pointed out that the symbol in his cartoon was there, in a comment, Pete replied, "Yeah, I was waiting for someone to notice that."
Yeah, also, you don't need secret Nazi shit in a comic when someone's wearing a MAGA hat in them. That's like
it's right there.
regular Nazi shit.
We're already there.
A little redundant. Military intelligence. All right, and notice they did. And Pete, who had lined up a role for TV's reality show, "I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here," was out of there. He was fired from this gig before it even began. And soon, pretty much every major retailer and advertiser who had contracts tied up with Pete Evans began to cancel those contracts and to fire him.
Well, a belated kudos to their ethics, I guess. Where they come in there like, "Look, man, it was one thing when you were just murdering babies with bone broth and lying about a deadly pandemic, but this Nazi stuff,
too far.
It's over the line."
And Pete pretty much fell off the map for a while, though not because he was reformed, but because he was banned from most social media and he had his Nazi ass canceled. In 2021, he bought a wellness retreat for true believers, and he charged a small fortune for guests to swing by and look at his plasma lamp and skip carbs and get sunburns on their eyeball. But just recently, Pete took the Telegram to promote his latest scam, a fasting retreat.
Some cavemen were slower than others. This tracks. Okay, I'm getting it. Yeah.
Now, for the low, low price of $2,500, you can hang out for 5 days at the Pete retreat, probably feeling weak and shaky and low blood sugar, while you chant a bunch of dumb shit in a yurt, pretending to have a spiritual experience and a performative display of your physical and moral superiority and
It
discipline.
literally sounds like Penzic War.
Okay, so are we pro or against CrossFit in this essay? I'm confused now, Tom. What do we want to do?
Oh, and also there will be people there unironically calling themselves shaman, and still you cannot squeeze them.
I feel like I could squeeze him.
And there's something really special, really perfect about a guy who has come so far off the mark from his beginnings that he went from making his life selling food to making his living selling not food. Oh, and if you head over to his website, which you absolutely should not, there's live Bitcoin updates there.
Of course.
Because of fucking course.
And if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
Buy handkerchiefs. No, maybe I didn't understand. Phone broth? No.
No, there you go. And are you ready for the quiz?
Absolutely.
All right, Tom, what's the best-selling drink at Pete's Cafe? A, persistent coffee. B, iced chai, droxychloroquine. C, cherry ICU. Or D, oolong COVID.
Oolong COVID. Oh, it's got to be oolong. I know cherry ICU is good, but I'm going oolong COVID.
You are correct. Oolong COVID.
Yes.
Secret answer. No, regular answer.
All right, I got one for you. What would be the best way for the Australian skeptics to give Pete his Bent Spoon Award? A, shove it up his ass. B, shove it up his ass but sideways. C, shove it up his ass but sideways but further. Or D, First, you sharpen the tip of the bowl, and then Cecil edits out the rest of your suggestion.
Well, I think we'll be lucky if Cecil doesn't edit out the entire question, so I'm going to go with D.
It doesn't matter if Cecil edits it out. So yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
All right. Tom, what do they sing every morning to start off their day at Pete Evans' starvation retreat? A, the Starves and Stripes Forever.
Okay, I like that one. That one's
That's
good.
No, that's good. That's good.
Does-
That's solid.
B, Here Comes the Sun.
Sure.
Here's
Not a pun, but
here's
yeah.
a bad one. Get ready. C, Singing in the Not Allowed to Eat Grain.
That is the-
that one
what? That's
tries
so
so
bad.
hard. That one tries so
Green.
hard.
Paleo
I
Grain.
don't think it does.
Wow.
I don't think it tries very hard.
Or D, Help.
You brought it back. The last one brought it back in. You brought it back in.
I believe that it is Help.
Yeah, no, it's
No?
not. It's Singing in the Not Allowed to Eat Grain.
Oh, I don't know why.
Boo.
I didn't think that one
no,
was
the
so
fuck it
obviously
isn't.
good.
Boo.
But we will allow you to have the win regardless.
Yay, I want a Cecil essay.
I figured you might. All right. Well, for Cecil, Eli, and Tom, I'm Noah. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We're going to be back next week. And by then, Cecil will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear us pretend to be experts on other shit, on cognitive dissonance, D&D minus, dear old dads, god-awful movies, the scathing atheist, and the skeptocrat. Or you can hear Cecil actually be an expert on something on Season Liberally. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you want to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com. All right. 2 Chicago and 2 New York pizzas for balance. Do you feel better?
Oh, yeah, way better. Yeah.
Hey, what if next week we didn't do the opening sketch and just opened with the host intro as like a callback to the joke we made on this show?
Yeah, I feel like we're just, we're kind of stuck with it.
Okay.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.